Welcome to Into the Industries, the TV show where we take you guys into a deep dive at what goes on in every single professional field that you can think of. My name is Andy Sloan, and I'm a staff member here at KBVR-TV. Over the past few years, I've just loved learning everything that goes into making a professional TV show. That comes from setting up cameras, setting up microphones, and everything else it takes to get our content out on the big screen. That being said, I thought it'd be really special to take the time to show you guys what goes on behind the scenes of media production. Not only media production, though, we're going to take a special look at sports production here today on Into the Industries. To start things off, I set up an interview with Brynn Kirkland, our sports producer here at KBVR-TV. Take it away, Brynn.
My name is Brynn Kirkland. I got involved here my freshman year after I had a class with the previous station manager. I had been involved in broadcast media in high school, and I kind of was just asking him what OMN did, and he was like, that seems like exactly what you did in high school. And I was like, well, perfect. I'm there. And so I just started volunteering. And so I kind of got an idea of like what a producer did and them creating like the vision for a show. And so when I started volunteering, I was encouraged to apply to be an entry-level producer by some of my peers and my advisor. And yeah, it was just them showing their support and kind of reminding me that you don't have to know everything. Like, you can come into the job and like learn as you go. Well, I started off producing an open mic poetry show called The Lyrical Lounge, and I had no idea what I was doing. And I was so scared before every shoot. I would get like so nervous. And I think I even cried a couple times in Steven's office. And every time he's just like, you got this. Use this as a way to kind of push through those fears of what you're learning to do. Having people like Steven that were super knowledgeable in how sports broadcasts go was really helpful, because he was able to guide me through that, and he was open to any questions. Like, there was never any judgment. And so this year, going into my second year of producing sports, I feel a lot more comfortable. Day of a shoot, I usually get up, have some breakfast. I'll usually bring some snacks and drinks for the crew. And then once I get there, I get to the station earlier, like probably around like 45 minutes earlier than everybody else, because I want to go through stats, see if there's a game that happened the night before that I didn't already get the stats for. I print out rosters, stat sheets for both teams that we're broadcasting. And so it's kind of just getting all those little things finalized and polished up. And then we go to wherever we're broadcasting. Usually it's Linn-Benton or at one of the fields at OSU, Student Legacy Park. And then we have a meeting to kind of go over who's all there, what position they're on, and the overall, what the entirety of the broadcast is going to contain. And usually it goes pretty smoothly. That's the show. And we come back here and we do our congratulations and give shout outs, and then we go home because we're tired. It's a long day. My workflow kind of goes over the course of a couple weeks. Usually I have a really hard time getting started just because I love procrastination. I would say I usually get into the grind of it like the week before, week and a half before. I kind of just have a little pep talk with myself, like, okay, there's a week until the show. You need to talk to announcers, confirm everything with like the teams that we're broadcasting, finish the rundown, and make sure everybody's trained on everything. Really, it's just kind of having the faith and the trust in those people after I tell them everything I need them to do, because this is a team thing. It's not just me. I'm in charge of organizing and creating the vision, but it's the crew that actually makes that happen. We have director, technical director if we have one, the person doing graphics, person working audio, and then my announcers and me are all in the booth. So that's a lot of people, especially if we're at Linn-Benton. It gets real close and warm, and it's usually pretty loud. But yeah, so I'm able to kind of watch over all of those people. There's 2 camera operators. There's one kind of on the floor at the corner of the gym, like corner of the court, and that's usually slash cam. And then the hero cam is positioned right underneath the booth on the bleachers next to the game cam. And then shoulder cam, they're kind of just on the sideline, and they have the freedom to kind of get a variety of different creative shots. So I will talk to the director about what exact shots I want, what I'm looking for, like in and out of break, And he's just kind of paying attention to what the announcers are saying and what I was envisioning and relaying that to the camera operator so everybody's on the same page. We usually have like 10 to maybe 12 people there for setup. That's the entirety of the crew. So we have people running cables to each of the cameras and into the control booth, making sure the cameras are on the right format, the framing is good, and then usually right after they set up their camera, they can start practicing shots before we do run-throughs. People in the control booth, they're usually in charge of setting up their station. So audio sets up audio, hands out the headphones, get those all connected. Director and TD usually set up our ATEM switcher, which is what everything runs through and how we control the shots we have in our broadcast. I usually am not really too focused on the setup process, and I am just talking to the announcers and talking to my director. So we'll have set times during the day when I will meet with those announcers just to make sure we are on schedule to start run-throughs when we need to. And with the announcers, I just kind of go over the script and we practice their intro for the pregame. Our best show was definitely, as of now, last year's lacrosse match, just because for one, it was a great game and we won with, I think, 30 seconds left in the game. But just the camera operators were so dialed and I don't think they missed any play at all. They were always on the person. Like the viewers could feel like they were actually there. Everybody was just on the same page and everything just seemed to flow so smoothly, which, not that that doesn't happen very often, but I think when it does, you can really feel a difference in just the entire production atmosphere. If everything's going crappy, like I'm tired or I'm feeling out of it and the crew's feeling out of it, it's kind of hard to stay motivated and hard to remind yourself oh, this is what I love doing, this is like my passion. But it really all kind of comes back when there's just one little thing that goes right. It doesn't have to be something big. It could be one shot sequence that we get during run-throughs where you're like, wow, that was beautiful. I can't wait to have this on the broadcast. Just knowing that other people are enjoying it as much as you are really makes the entirety of the show. It's the other people that make TV for me. I love working with people and I love helping people learn, and I love continuing to learn with every broadcast. So, yeah.
After getting some insight into how we execute broadcasts here at KBVR-TV, we wanted to see everything that happens in sports that's not part of the broadcast. In order to figure that out, we have to talk to the Assistant Director of Marketing and Fan Engagement for Oregon State Athletics. Take it away, Brie.
Hi, I'm Brie Galvez. I am the Assistant Athletic Director of Marketing and Engagement. I've been here this is my 4th season now, and I am just in charge of all the marketing fan engagement elements at football. Yeah, so football game days are really fun, and they're also hectic, but they're long days. I get here roughly 7 to 8 hours prior to the game. I'm in my office. I'm printing out scripts, breakdowns, production notes, and everything like that. We're also in charge of all of our interns, game day interns. So we have about a team of 22 interns that we see. They are running all of our outside activations, so all the pregame, the tailgating, beaver block party, beaver walk. They set up all of that. So the inflatables, all those activations, our team sets up. So we get there before all that. That opens up 3.5 hours prior to game time. So all of our pregame activities are 3.5 to 30 minutes prior to kick. We're running all of that. We also work with our sponsorship team to fulfill all of the sponsorship needs as well during pregame. And then we run Beaver Walk. Beaver Walk is when the team gets here. And then from there, doors open 90 minutes prior. So then I switch everything up. I'm up here. And then in the production booth, I work with our PA announcer. So I write everything that is not, or everything that's scripted within our timeouts. I write that for him and trigger him when to read. And then everything that you see on the board is something that we do. So I work with another director in Link, replays, graphics. All those graphics are made by me and my team. And we're in here kind of controlling the lights, the atmosphere, making sure fans are having fun on their feet and engaged in the game. I would say my favorite part is just providing like a really fun game day experience. So, you know, the whole unique thing about my job is that I have to think about fans that are 5-year-olds old, all the way fans to like 85, and making sure that they're having fun. So to see fans and in between to students on their feet having fun, singing along, you know, I think one of the favorite parts is when the team runs out and everybody's like on their feet going crazy. And then another favorite part is like those Toyota sing-alongs are really fun. You know, when the stadium lights are going off and everybody's just like united, I think sports bring people together. So seeing everybody come together is something that really fulfills me.
Lastly, we're going to hear from Lena Watson, one of the unit managers for the Pac-12, and Eric Stefanic, the lead engineer for all the venues here at Oregon State University. Let's see what they have to say about this.
I am Lena Watson, and I'm a unit and technical manager for the Pac-12 here at Oregon State.
My name's Eric Stefanic. Been working for Oregon State for about 1.5 years now.
And my game day is intense. It's just like everybody else's.
There's a lot of things, audio, video, really cameras, timing, I mean, really, you name it, and our team is involved. I've got 2 wonderful team members that I work with, Derek and Justin. They're excellent. I love them to death, and we've been through all kinds of stuff together.
I'll get here probably an hour before the rest of the crew gets here. So there is usually 1 hour where I can put together the things that I like to have arranged ahead of time, especially if there's things in the compound that need to be moved. I consider myself the transportation secretary because we're only allowed a few different things in this area.
An actual event, working an event, it starts on usually Thursday or Friday. The TV truck, we do work with the TV truck that comes in. Make sure that all of either the Tri-X or the SMPTE fiber for their cameras is good.
So I start my day with just gathering the compound, the credentials, those golf carts. Usually Ryan or Andy are here. Yeah, and so we kind of just game plan the start of the day, and we just I just ask them if they're ready to go, and they say absolutely, and then people start arriving on site, and they're looking for their marching orders. They'll disperse to their areas. We do what we call a fax, which is very important, and that just means everything should be working by game time, and that does mean everything we are going to use.
All of the audio runs are good from the booth all the way down to the truck, and that everything it looks good. If we need to replace a Tri-X end or something like that, that's what our team also helps do. So
we'll fax it all out. We'll send everybody to lunch, make sure they're warm, happy, and fed, because they're about to do 4 hours of uninterrupted game time, and that's when we need them at their best. So then they're allowed, they then take the hour, take whatever. And then talent arrives, which is so fun because I do actually really like all 3 of them. Then we start this game and I'm good to go and I'm happy. all the red lights are green, all of the people are smiling and the cameras are on.
We send all the audio feeds, we mix. We have an A1 that mixes. So we make sure that ref mics are good, going to home radio, to TV truck, to away radio. I mean, really, all the stuff behind the scenes is we've got our hands in that. We do the game. I game plan with my 2 once again, and then we talk about feeding them at the end of the night. Strike meal, feeding 45 to 80 people, however many people are on site. That's number 1, and I do need a lot of help with that. And then we'll bring the talent their cars back. We'll see them on their way, whether they like to hang out and they'll eat strike meal with us sometimes, or they'll just jet out of here. And then we strike this truck, we tear this compound down. I save what I can for other shows, and I do a lap on the field to make sure everything's closed because it rains in Oregon. And then we get out of here. Basically anything that comes through the television studios up at Learning Innovation Center Link. I'm a part of it.
I get to fill a lot of different roles, which is some of my favorite part is that every day is a little bit different.
As well as all the athletics, so like the Daktronics, everything that we have as far as technology and research, Gil, Goss, and out at softball as well, and Paul Lorenz soccer field as well.
But on an easy day, I'm really just hoping to make sure everybody's on time, everybody's well fed. Safety is our #1 priority. And then we have a great show and everybody gets home safely as well.
So I graduated, I went to school on the East Coast, Seton Hall, graduated in 2007, and I wanted to work in television. My boss, I got a job in the TV studio there, and he has since retired, but he got me to be able to work for Yes Network, which does all the Yankee games.
It was about 8 years ago, and my dad worked in sports a little bit. He was actually a tech startup, and he ended up selling his startup to Stats, which is that Stats network in Chicago. So he did very well for himself.
I was, the student TV engineer there, and then after I graduated, I was a satellite truck uplink engineer for about 5 years, working out of Sacramento. Actually, I spent my first Thanksgiving after college in 2007 here in Corvallis at the Sherry's, rest in peace Sherry's, because it was open on Thanksgiving. So I went from there in 2013, started working for a company called D-Tags, and we primarily went and worked for ESPN. So I flew all over the country from 2013 to 2016 doing ESPN events. Did my first Super Bowl in 2014 in New Orleans. That was, cool experience being a freelance transmission technician.
Sorry. Anyway, so my dad did do some kind of stuff. He knew the replay guy. Shout out Mike Scoville. You know Mike Scoville? Of course, he got me my job 8 years ago. Yeah, and he's a replay tech and an SDP tech, and he'll come and I'll do his paperwork, and we can compare SDP show notes, which is like the technical side of the job that I do. And I still get to see him, and he still comes and works on my shows, and we get to compare notes about the same show. And I know he and my parents are so proud of me, so it's been really exciting. I did not take any classes. I studied political science, and I'm a really hard worker. So that's really gotten me the farthest.
And then I got into a little more stable work, but I worked for 8 years at City of San Antonio. So that's where I learned a lot of the production stuff with routing and comms and audio and mixing and things like that. So TV has been very good to me. Met a lot of good people along the way. Had a lot of fun times. It's just I love working behind the scenes in television, and I want to help everybody that wants to do that do the same. Luckily, I've been blessed with a couple of students that have kind of been in it, but I'm happy also just working with the crew. I mean, always working with the crew. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of characters. We have a lot of fun dialogue on talking on comms. Just various people noticing various things and getting, particularly, especially during football games, is trying to get someone taking a bite of something, some nachos or a hot dog or something like that is always fun as well.
My favorite thing are the people. I really enjoy it. I went to school at Oregon State, and obviously when you go off to college, you learn a lot on your own, and you grow up in your own way without your family, and I can't be more thankful for all of the people that helped me do that.
But really working with the crew, working with the students, trying to grow, get all the students that we work with to not just take shortcuts, but put in the work and realize that, hey, it's going to pay off at some point in time. People are going to see, and they're going to realize the good work that you do, and grow from there. Hopefully into really good professionals.
It's really something. It's really a community, and it's great to love your job and the people that you get to do it with. Yeah.
Thank you so much to everybody that gave us the opportunity to dive into what exactly they do in the sports production world. Before we wrap up, I'm lucky to be here with Bob Akamian. So thank you so much for being here.
No,
It really
my
means a
pleasure.
lot.
It's great to be back at Oregon State. It's been 40 years since I first stepped on campus to cover Dave Cragthorpe's Air Express.
Wow. Yeah. So we are all students that are extremely interested in getting into the production world. And would you mind telling us a little bit about like where you came from and what exactly you do?
Well, I do a lot of things, and that's kind of by design. I mean, I started out in student radio, and I was lucky to have a situation similar to KBVR, and I thought radio was going to be my life, and I was doing play-by-play and news and commentary, and I got my first job in Anchorage, and I was anchoring news at the All News radio station, and then TV, was pretty easy to get into in Alaska, and I wanted to do sports, and so I ended up at the NBC affiliate. And then I thought I was just going to climb through TV sports and be a big-time anchor in a big market, because you could do that back in the 80s. And but along the way, I kept doing play-by-play announcing because I wanted to. And eventually, when what was now Root Sports was getting started, all the regional sports networks, wow, we can do play-by-play of all these events. And I was doing Oregon State right off the bat. And so then it became play-by-play first, so I had to leave TV news because TV news didn't think that was a good thing to do. Why do you want to work for cable sports? That's nothing. And so that became number one, but I had a radio job now to cover the rest of that. And then it just kept evolving through more and more freelancing. And announcing became producing, became directing, and now I do a lot of work as a tech manager, which is sort of being the father of a production, because you make sure you don't plan it, but you make sure it all happens on time. And I spend a lot of time doing that now with Major League Soccer as well as the Pac-12.
Yeah, being a tech manager is one of the most impactful things that you can have on those big broadcasts. But that being said, because you've done so many different things throughout the years, what do you feel like makes sports different? How is sports broadcasting unique from any other kind of media?
Well, it's the two things. It's live and it's unscripted.
Yeah.
You look at reality TV nowadays where it's so clearly scripted, and there may be drama, but it's so obviously manufactured. But I mean, a live sporting event is unfolding in front of you, and you may know everything about the teams, what the storyline is, but the game has to happen. And that makes everybody on their toes. Cameras don't know where the ball's going. Graphics don't know which graphic to put in next until something happens. And the director's holding all that together. The producer, it's like painting. Producer buys all the paint and sets the paint out, but the director has to paint the picture. But to paint the picture, he has to tell everybody how to do it. So there's a great energy of doing a live event, and I've done other live things with music and events, but live sports is absolutely the best, and it is the hardest thing to do in all of production. People do studio shows all week, and it's like anybody can sit and do that over and over, but live game, that is the best thing, and that's why people stay in the business so long.
Yeah, but so is that one of the things that's led to you staying in the industry for so long? Just the fact that it's different every single time, or is there anything else that's really made you want to stay?
Well, I think it is different every day. And I mean, people say, why are you still, I get this now. Why aren't you retired? Because I wake up every morning and there's something interesting to do. And I like doing it. And I, the thing I'm really thankful for is that people still call and ask me to do things. I have been a freelancer for a large part of my career. And, the stereotype, it's like with actors. You're laying on the couch thinking nobody will ever hire me again. And then you get a call and, I got 3 weeks of something. And then the adrenaline picks back up. But absolutely, because it's new and different every day. And I've got things now. I mean, this is, we're getting close to year 50, and I've got things I want to do the next couple of years.
Yeah. I mean, not getting shows booked out and stuff, that's definitely a struggle that a lot of people face. What other struggles do you face, and have you seen other people face in this industry?
Well, you always are in that cusp of ego versus being part of the team, because you have to stand up for yourself, especially as a freelancer. And you'd be amazed if you don't know how many people, even on giant network shows, are freelancers who don't just automatically come with ESPN on this football package. Maybe producer, director, and certain key people do. All those camera guys are freelancers. And they're trying to get they want as many games as they can, the highest paying games, and hopefully the best travel, the most interesting locations. So, and as much as you want to get what you want to stand up for yourself, tell a crewer, you got to hire me for this. Do too much of that, people get tired of that. So you're always in that, walking on that line of, demanding what you need and saying what you want, but then not overdoing it, and then being happy with what you have. I wasn't happy with what I had for some pretty long stretches, even though I was working, making good money, taking care of my family. But if you're not doing what you want, that wears on you.
Yeah.
So it's that's the hardest thing, is to actually be happy at any one point with where you are, because it's always like, oh, I want to do this package in 6 months, and but I'm doing this now, but it's okay. But if I don't get that package, now I got to scramble and get something else. So I think just being happy with where you are. I mean, the Frosty Westering, the great football coach at Pacific Lutheran, always had this saying, and he gave me one of his little placards: make the big time where you are, be great where you are. And it's amazing when you can settle to that, how much you actually are satisfied with what you're doing.
Yeah. I mean, what do you think are the biggest things that go into making you satisfied with your jobs that you have?
I think, and I've had the opportunity to be in management with a couple different companies, be a coordinating producer, where you did have to make all those booking decisions. I think the biggest thing is being treated with respect, and people listen to you. And I think right now, one of the things I'm involved with, I've worked with Major League Soccer the last 3 years totally on Apple TV, but even before that, I was in various roles with the Portland Timbers and the Seattle Sounders. And they listen in Major League Soccer. Like, I can send a note to the director of broadcast at MLS, and he'll answer. I mean, they listen. NEP is the company I work for, hired me to be a tech manager. And they want to know what I think. If there's something wrong in the setup at Providence Park or Lumen Field, they want to know. And so having that respect is really important. And so in these jobs, and tech managing is hard. It's a 16-hour day. First one in, last one out. You're outside, you're dragging bike fence around. But if it all goes well and you feel like everybody communicated well, it's a great day.
Yeah. So you said that you work right now, you're employed to be a tech manager by a company.
Right.
How has your experience been working freelance or versus being employed in this industry? Because I know those are two very, very different things that a lot of people...
Oh, it is. And of course, especially my generation, you grew up with, well, you're going to get a full-time job and be loyal to a company. But this industry is so spread out now, and, there's a subcontractor of a subcontractor. I mean, I work for NEP, Super Shooters, which provides the trucks and the packaging for Major League Soccer. They're hired by Major League Soccer, but Apple TV gets a say in everything because the games air on Apple TV.
Yeah.
And there's all these different people that all the entities hire.
Yeah.
So being a freelancer is great because you get to do different things, and that's why I've done so many different things in my life, because I like it.
Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't do just one sport all the time, even things I love.
Yeah.
I love basketball, and there was a point where I was doing Oregon State and the Trailblazers at the same time, and it wore me out. But I love the basketball. I love football, but it takes so long. Football weekends are long.
They're really long days.
So it's great to do other things. Obviously, the benefit of a full-time job is, you have a steady paycheck. You may have benefits. Not everybody does, by the way, even in full-time. But you're also subject to the whims of the company, and you don't get to make decisions. And the last 2 full-time jobs I have, I quit one of them on my own, and then the other one was great, and they paid me more, but they didn't need me after a year, and I was just let go. So neither one of those full-time jobs really ended that well.
Yeah. One last question before we have to pull things out here, but if you were to talk to somebody who is as interested in sports production as you seem to be, but they have absolutely no experience, what would you tell them to do?
Get experience. Do whatever you can to get on a show. And nowadays, I wish I had all these toys back in the 70s and 80s. I mean, You know, just the act of making a TikTok reel or doing social posting, telling a story, tell little stories.
Yeah.
And, you know, that all adds up. Go work. I mean, work in productions like this in student broadcasting. Learn how to over-under cable, the basic skill. Learn how to read from a teleprompter. And then get as many reps as you can.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of opportunities now in minor league sports, small market media, where you can walk in with no experience, and you just have to be willing to learn.
Cool. Well, thank you so much. I genuinely appreciate you coming in and talking about this. We're all students that are extremely passionate, but that has been it for the interior industry, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Next term, make sure to tune in. We're gonna be looking at everything that goes into making cheese and milk and all the stuff that you have in your fridge in the food industry. Going from TV to food next term right here on KBVR. Thank you so much. Thank you, Bob.